In the introduction, we set the stage for the historical documentary by highlighting the intense backdrop of the Cold War. This period, which lasted from the late 1940s to the early 1990s, was marked by intense political, military, and ideological rivalry between the United States and the Soviet Union. The space race emerged as a direct result of this global tension. During this era, both superpowers sought opportunities to demonstrate their technological and scientific superiority. The space race, as we refer to it, was a unique aspect of this competition. Rather than military might, it centered around exploring and conquering the cosmos, showcasing the potential of space exploration for both strategic and scientific purposes. Our story begins in the late 1950s, as the Iron Curtain cast a shadow over global affairs. The Iron Curtain represented the ideological and political division in Europe, with Western democracies led by the United States on one side and Eastern Bloc countries under Soviet influence on the other. Tensions were at an all-time high, fueled by the fear of nuclear conflict and the spread of communism. Then, on a fateful day in October 1957, the Soviet Union unveiled its secret weapon, the first artificial satellite, Sputnik. This small, beeping sphere, about the size of a basketball, became the first human-made object to orbit Earth. Its launch sent shockwaves around the world, as it marked the beginning of the space age. The Soviet achievement with Sputnik left the world in awe and dread. The beeping of Sputnik's radio signal served as a constant reminder of Soviet technological prowess, challenging the United States and sparking the race for space supremacy. The United States, not one to back down from a challenge, responded with the formation of NASA, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. NASA was established in 1958 as a dedicated agency to manage and oversee the United States space exploration efforts. This marked a significant commitment to catching up to and surpassing the Soviet achievements. In 1961, a charismatic young astronaut named Yuri Gagarin became the first human to venture into space, marking a historic milestone for the Soviet Union. Gagarin's mission, known as Vostok 1, demonstrated the Soviet Union's lead in manned spaceflight. It was a triumph for communism and a symbolic wake-up call for the Western world, including the United States. But the Americans were determined to catch up. President John F. Kennedy made a bold declaration in 1961, "We choose to go to the moon."
We choose to go to the moon.
This declaration, made in his famous speech before a joint session of Congress, set the ambitious goal of landing an American on the moon and returning them safely to Earth within the decade. This marked the birth of the Apollo program. Throughout the 1960s, the Apollo program became a symbol of American ambition, ingenuity, and resilience. It encompassed a series of missions, each building on the knowledge and technology of the previous one. These missions included Mercury, Gemini, and finally, Apollo. They represented a progression in space exploration and the development of critical technologies and systems. Astronauts like Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins embodied the courage and determination required to achieve the impossible. The world watched as these heroes embarked on perilous journeys, ultimately leading to the historic Apollo 11 mission. Then came July 20, 1969, a day etched into history. Apollo 11 touched down on the lunar surface. "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind," declared Neil Armstrong as he descended the ladder and stepped onto the moon's surface. The world watched in astonishment as humanity's dream of reaching another celestial body came true. The climax of the documentary is the most pivotal moment, the historic Apollo 11 lunar landing. Neil Armstrong's iconic words as he became the first human to step onto the moon's surface signify the fulfillment of centuries-old dreams and the tremendous achievement of human ingenuity and determination. The space race, a fierce competition driven by ideology, ambition, and sheer audacity, transformed science and technology, leaving an indelible mark on human progress. It spurred unprecedented innovation and collaboration, leading to the development of satellite technology, GPS, and countless other advancements we now take for granted. In conclusion, we reflect on the broader impact of the space race. The intense competition between the United States and the Soviet Union accelerated technological advancements. Satellites, a product of the space race, revolutionized communication, navigation, and scientific research. GPS, initially developed for military use, has become an integral part of our daily lives. Furthermore, the collaborative spirit that emerged from this rivalry laid the foundation for future international cooperation in space exploration. This cooperation is exemplified by the International Space Station, ISS, where nations work together to explore space, emphasizing the long-lasting legacy of the space race.